Have you ever bought an online course, watched a lesson or two, and then quietly let it slip away? And then wondered what was wrong with you for not finishing? I need you to hear this. There is nothing wrong with you. You're just missing a few pieces that make finishing possible. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those pieces are. 3 of them. A deadline that creates momentum, a finish line that welcomes messy, and support that meets you how you learn best. Stay with me because I will also tell you about a former student who went from never having opened Adobe Illustrator before to selling her art on products in about 2 weeks, and what made the difference for her. Welcome to the Creative Business Spark podcast. I'm LaFollette. After getting laid off in my late 50s, I found myself adrift with no income and no sense of self. But my mom always said, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. So I decided to reinvent myself and build an online creative business from scratch. Now I help women like you do the same. Let's dive in because it's never too late to create. Welcome to this week's Creative Business Spark podcast. I'm so glad you're here. If that question at the top of the episode landed a little too close to home, you are in exactly the right place today. Because we're going to talk about the thing almost nobody talks about. Not how to start, how to finish. Let me tell you about Debbie. Debbie had never opened Adobe Illustrator before. She told me it felt like learning a foreign language. She'd been scrolling Instagram, seeing other beautiful repeating patterns, knowing that she wanted to be a part of that world. She'd always dreamed of seeing her designs on fabric. She just had no idea how she would ever get there. And that space right there, that space between I want this and I have no idea how, that is what quietly stops so many women. You watch a lesson, then life gets loud. The program feels hard, and your doodles stay stuck in your head where no one can ever see them. But Debbie didn't stop. Within 2 weeks, during my Doodles coaching program, she went from never having opened Adobe Illustrator before to designing artwork that she can put on stationery, on fabric, on notebook covers, on wallpaper, on wrapping paper, and so many other products. She told me the possibilities are endless, so much more than I had ever imagined. Same woman, the only thing that changed was that she finished. So here's what I want you to know. Debbie had the desire from the start. All she was missing was a place that made finishing feel possible. So if you have ever started before and drifted away, listen closely. It is not a willpower problem at all. Here are the 3 keys that can move you from almost stopping to finishing, and they change everything. Key number 1, a deadline that creates momentum. Here's the quiet truth about learning something new on your own. There's always tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll open the program. Tomorrow you'll watch the next lesson. Tomorrow you will finally sit down and try the thing. But the tomorrow you're waiting for never comes, and the pattern you meant to make stays a someday pattern. It lives in your head, lovely and unfinished forever. Now here is what changes that. A deadline changes the math. When there is a finish date on the calendar, watching quietly turns into doing. You stop collecting lessons like they are the point, and you start using them. Because the clock is not always kind, but it is honest. This is why the women in my Doodles coaching week make real progress. It is not that they are more disciplined than you. It is that the week has shape. There's homework after each session, small and doable, so you are never just watching. There is a rhythm that carries you, and by the end, you are not thinking about starting anymore. You have finished something in your hands. So hear me on this. Momentum is not a personality trait. It's a structure. Give yourself a real deadline, and you may be surprised how much of that "I am just not disciplined" story was never true in the first place. Key number 2, a finish line that welcomes messy. Now, there is a sneakier reason you might stop, and almost no one admits it out loud. Finishing makes the work real. Think about it. As long as your pattern is unfinished, it cannot be judged. It cannot disappoint you. It stays safe in the land of potential where it might still be brilliant. But the moment you finish it, it becomes a real thing in the real world, and some quiet part of you would rather not risk that. So you tinker. You wait until you know more. You tell yourself it's not ready. You decide it needs a few more things. And that is not laziness. That's fear wearing a very convincing costume. Let me tell you about Susan from my June Doodles Coaching Week cohort. Susan said something I think about all the time. She told me learning Adobe Illustrator was really hard. Not a little challenging, hard. And then in the very same breath, she said, now I have this confidence to move forward. Your step-by-step approach made all of the difference. And I want you to think about that order very carefully. Her confidence came after finishing, not before. She did not wait to feel ready and then finish. She finished, and the readiness followed. That is almost always how it goes. So here is your permission slip. Your first pattern may be wonky. Mine certainly was, and that's not a problem. That's not a problem to solve before you begin. It's the whole point of beginning. A good finish line does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be done. And being done is where the confidence lives. Key number 3, support that meets you how you like to learn. This is the last thing that could stop you. And it's one you rarely see coming. You hit a snag, alone, with no one to ask, and you quietly give up. And it is such a small moment. A tool will not do what the video showed. A step doesn't click right away. And in an online course that doesn't meet you where you are or how you learn best, that little snag becomes the exit. You close the laptop and you do not come back. So in the Doodles Coaching Week, I built the support to meet you how you learn best, because women do not all learn the same way. Some of my students thrive in the live sessions where they can watch me work in real time. Others cannot make it live at all because they're working full time. Karen from the June cohort missed every single live session because she's working. But she finished anyway, entirely by watching the replays. She told me, I greatly appreciate your clear instruction and supportive teaching style, and the flexibility of watching the replays after each day's live session. For women like me who still like to see things written down, I provide step-by-step guides with screenshots so you can follow at your own pace. And you can watch the video and read the instructions, whatever works best for you. So there's live teaching, there are video replays, there are written guides with pictures, 3 doors into the same room. So a snag never becomes a stop. And then there's the part that I love the most. You are not doing any of this alone. I am cheering you on, and so is everyone else in the room. Every single pattern that gets posted is celebrated all week long. There is something that happens when a woman shares her very first repeat, and everyone else who's in the same program tell her that it's beautiful. And it's true, and that helps you keep going. We even give away prizes, and I chose them on purpose. They are products that former Doodle students made from their own designs. A tea towel, for example, a beautiful notebook, a small acrylic tray, and a notepad. They're real things made by women who once sat exactly where you are sitting right now, wondering if they could do this. The reward for finishing is a glimpse of where finishing leads. Let's look again at the 3 keys. A deadline that turns watching into doing, a finish line that lets you be done before you are perfect, and support that meets you how you learn best, and a room that celebrates you every step along the way. Now notice what is not on that list. Talent is not on it. Age is not on it. Being good with computers is not on it. The things that stop you are almost never the things you blame yourself for. They're things a good container solves. So imagine with me for a minute, in less than 2 weeks, a finished pattern of your very own. Not a someday pattern, a real one, made by you, celebrated by women who understand exactly what it took to get there. That is not a fantasy for other people. That could be you. My Fall Doodles Coaching Week is where that happens, and early bird tickets are available right now for just $37. If you have started before and drifted away, or if you never quite let yourself start at all, this is your safe space to learn. So here is what I'd love you to do. Go get all the details at members.artwithann.com/doodles. I'll put it on screen, but if you're listening to the podcast, just type this into your browser. It's members.artwithann.com/doodles. Read all the details and then grab your early bird seat. And let's get you finished this time. Thank you so much for watching today. If you're here on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and feel free to leave a comment because I read every single one. And if you're listening to the podcast, thank you for listening. Follow my podcast either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts so that you don't miss future episodes, and forward this on to a friend who needs to hear this today. I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette. And remember, it's never too late to create. That's it for today, and I'll see you again next week.